Welcome to our second lecture of unit 4, and our topic is quality by design. In the last lecture I have told you what is quality control, what is quality assurance, and now we are studying the quality by design, means we have to design the quality. Okay. QBD is a systematic approach to the product development. Okay. The more systematic approach to the product development is known as the quality by design or QBD. Okay. And it is defined in the Q8 section of ICH guidelines, and as per the ICH guidelines, it is a systematic approach to development that begins with the predefined objectives and emphasizes the product and process understanding and process control based on the science and quality risk management. Okay. This is the definition as per the ICH guidelines of quality. Okay. Next is benefits of QBD. What are the various benefits? With the help of QBD, we can eliminate the batch failures, we can minimize the deviations and costly investigations, we can avoid the problems related to the regulatory compliances, we can take the better development decision, we can empower our skilled and technical staffs, we can ensure the continuous improvement in the quality. Okay. And why it is so? Because we are designing the product, or we can designing the method, we are designing the process in such a way that the chances of batch failure will be eliminated and deviations will be minimized, and the problems related to the regulatory compliances can be avoided, and we can take the better decision regarding the product development. Okay. Next is scope of QBD. What is the scope of QBD? With the help, scope of the QBD is very wide, it is very important and it is helpful in the various sector in the pharmaceutical industry. So, QBD is helpful in the process related to the drug development, when we have to develop the drug, then right from the drug discovery, then from in the R&D department, then from production department and production to quality control, quality assurance, and last packaging, each and every department the QBD is very helpful. So, it has a importance in the process related to the drug development, it has a significance in the processes that are related to the drug development. Next is packaging, analysis. See, QBD is very helpful in analysis of the product, simple as well as advanced dosage form. It is helpful in manufacturing the simple dosage form as well as the advanced dosage form. It will helpful in designing the advanced drug delivery system. It will helpful in designing certain devices in the pharmaceutical industry for the manufacturing of quality products. Next is steps. There are 7 steps in the quality by design or in the process of QBD, and these are: first is target product profile, second is critical quality attributes. First is target product profile. First is target product profile, second is critical quality attributes, third one is linking of raw material attributes and process parameters with the CQA. CQA is critical quality attributes. Establish design space, establish control strategy, risk assessment and continual improvement. So, these all 7 are the various steps that we have to follow in implementing the QBD approach. Okay. First is target product profile. So, what do you mean by target product profile? Target product quality profile, that is TPQP, and it has been defined as a prospective and dynamic summary of the quality characteristics of the drug product that ideally will be achieved to ensure that the desired quality and thus the safety and efficacy of a drug product is realized. Okay. So, it is a approach or it is a summary of quality characteristics that the characteristics we can achieve from the product. And in the target product quality profile, certain features we are focusing on, that are dosage form, route of administration, strength, release, pharmacological characteristics and drug product quality criteria. Okay. In the target product quality profile, we are focusing on the dosage form, means what type of dosage form we are manufacturing, which route of administration we will follow. We will follow IM route, IV route or IP route, or oral or nasal route. Okay. Next is strength, means what will be the strength of the drug, how will drug release into the body, what is the pharmacological characteristics of the drug product, and what is the drug product quality criteria, means what are the specifications of the quality. Next is critical quality attributes. This is the second step of QBD approach, and once the target product quality profile is identified, the next step is to identify the relevant critical quality attributes or CQA. Now, first question comes in our mind that what is CQA? What is CQA? So, CQA, critical quality attributes, are the characteristics or are the parameters that have significant impact on the quality, safety and efficacy of the drug products. Okay. The attributes can be of two types: critical quality attributes and non-critical quality attributes. Okay. The attributes which have significant impact on the quality, safety and efficacy of the product, that will be defined as the CQA, and that does not significantly impact the quality significant effect the quality, safety and efficacy, they will be known as NCQA, non-clinical quality attributes. Okay, non-critical quality attributes. So, when the first step is completed, that is TPQP has been identified, the next step will be to identify the relevant critical quality attributes. Okay. Means to identify the parameters that will affect the quality of the product, that will affect the safety of the product or that will affect the efficacy of the product. Okay. So, CQA has been defined as a physical, chemical, biological or microbiological property or characteristics that should be within an appropriate limit, range or distributed to ensure the desired product quality. Means these are the parameters that should be in limits to ensure the product quality, and if our product is a quality product, then it will be safe to use and it will be very efficacious. Okay. So, the parameters which significantly affect the quality, safety and efficacy of the drug product will be critical quality attributes. Okay. Next next step is establish design space. So, there are following approaches to design space assessment, and these are: first is first principle approach, second is empirical approach, third scale up correlation, fourth is risk analysis and fifth one is combinational approach. Okay. So, in the first principle approach, we are focusing on the chemical properties. Okay. We are focusing on the physical properties. So, it is a first principle approach with the help of which we are designing the product. Next is empirical approach. Third is scale up correlation. In this, when we are scaling up our process, then what is the correlation between the parameters. Next is risk analysis. Risk analysis is a important parameter of risk management. Okay. In the quality risk management, we are focusing on we have three parameters: risk analysis, risk control and risk review. Okay. In the risk analysis, there are three different parameters: risk identification, risk assess. In the risk assessment, there are three parameters: risk identification, risk analysis, and risk control. Okay. Last is combinational approach. In this approach, we can combine any of two or any of three from the above. Okay. So, these all are the approaches to design the space. Next is establish control strategy. So, what is control strategy? It is defined as a planned set of controls that is derived from the current product and processes understanding that assures the process performance and product quality. Okay. And these control strategy can include the procedural control, in process control, lot release testing, process monitoring, characterization testing, comparability testing, and stability testing. Okay. So, control strategy includes the procedural control, means whatever method or whatever procedure we are following to for the manufacturing of product, at what points we have to set up certain limitations, we have to control the process. Okay. We have to set certain implications. In process control means whenever our process is at intermediate stage, then what processing parameter we have to control, what will be the temperature, certain pressure condition, certain temperature condition, or next is load release testing. Process monitoring means we have to focus on the whole process, we have to monitor all the process. Characterization testing, and this characterization testing will different for the different dosage form. With the for the suspension, these will be different; for the emulsion, these will be different; for certain drug delivery system, these will be different. Okay. Next is comparability testing and stability testing. Okay. So, this control strategy will includes all the elements that will be helpful for manufacturing the quality product. Next is risk assessment. So, risk assessment includes three steps: risk identification, risk analysis, and risk evaluation. Okay. This risk assessment is a part of QRM. This is the part of QRM, and QRM known as quality risk management, and this is described in the Q9 section of ICH. Okay. Quality Q9 of ICH will describe the guidelines for the quality risk management, and in the quality risk management is the systematic process that will include the risk assessment, risk control, and risk review. Okay. In case of risk assessment, there are three steps: risk identification, risk analysis, and risk evaluation. Okay. In the risk control, there are two steps: risk reduction and risk acceptance. Okay. In the risk identification, we have to identify the risk. Okay. Means what might be the wrong. Next is risk analysis. We have to analyze the risk. In the first step, we are identifying the risk. What is the risk? And in the second step, that is risk analysis, we are analyzing that risk. In the risk evaluation, we are evaluating the risk, means what we can do to remove that risk. Okay. After the risk assessment, next is risk control, and in the risk control, we can reduce the risk. In the risk reduction and risk acceptance means what amount of risk or what amount of risk we can accept it, means at what point the risk is acceptable. Okay. So, risk assessment includes the risk identification, risk analysis, and risk evaluation, and this is the part of QRM. Okay. That is quality risk management approach, in which we are identifying the risk, we are analyzing the risk, we are evaluating the risk. Just to eliminate the chances of risk or just to eliminate the root cause of the errors. Okay. Next is continual improvement. This is the last step of the QBT. Okay. And our main focus is continuous improvement, and for the continual improvement the team efforts and TQM are required. Okay. TQM means total quality management, and total quality management is the approach, is the systematic approach by which we are planning, we are maintaining or we are organizing the degree of excellence of the whole process. Okay. And product life cycle is managed by keeping the principle of continual improvement. Means if we are focusing on the continuously improvement, continuous improvement means a gradual increase in the improvement. Okay. So, in the QBD approach we are focusing on the continuous improvement with the help of team efforts as well as total quality management. Next is barriers to the QBT. There are 3 types of barriers in the way of implementing the QBT. So, I have told you that QBT is quality by design, means we are achieving the quality by designing the product in such a way that the automatically quality will be we are getting automatically the quality built it itself. Okay. So, there are 3 types of barrier in the way of implementing the QBT. While we are going for implementing the QBT approach, then there are 3 barriers. First is cultural changes, second is business challenges, third is restriction to changes. Okay. First is cultural change. Cultural change means region specific change or a traditional, it can be a traditional approach. Means in while we are implementing the QBD, there can be certain limitations that can be related to the our culture, to our tradition. Second is business challenge. Business challenge includes this approach can be related to the management, or there can be deficiency of investment, or if management is not properly managing with the department. Next is restriction to change. Okay. So, these all are the barriers that will put a hurdle in the way of implementation of QBD approach. Next is importance of QBD in the pharmaceuticals. Okay. So, quality by design is very important in the pharmaceutical industry. With the help of QBD approach, we can assure the high quality concerning the patient. Okay. If we are achieving the quality from the product, then it will be very safe to use in human, and if it is very safe, then it will automatically be very efficacious to the patients. Next is higher efficiency and saving of cost of the product. See, if with the help of QBD approach, we are getting the quality product, and for quality product we are saving the cost. How we are reducing the cost of reworking. In the QBD approach, we also need the support of total quality management, and total quality management is focusing on the continuous improvement, and continuous improvement is what? A gradual or small increment in the improvement in the process. Okay. And this gradual improvement or this continuous improvement will helpful in reducing the waste product. This will helpful in reducing the reworking cost, and if reworking cost is reduced, then automatically cost of production will be lowered, and if cost of production will be lowered, then maximum benefit or maximum profit can be achieved from the product. Next is facilitates regulatory compliance. So, with the help of QBD approach, we can comply with the regulatory guidelines. Okay, we can comply with the regulatory guidelines that were described according to the WHO, according to the ICH, according to the ISO, CDSCO, US FDA or EU legislations. ठीक है, तो regulatory compliances consist of guidelines of WHO, guidelines of ISO, guidelines of ICH, US FDA and CDSCO, CDSCO. Okay. So, WHO has published a handbook to that has certain guidelines or that has certain rules that are compulsory to follow in the pharmaceutical industry to obtain the quality of the product or to maintain the integrity of the product. Okay. Next is ISO. ISO is International Organization of Standardization. Okay. ISO organization is a non-governmental organization that are focusing on maintaining the quality of the product, and it is related to the or it is beneficial in the each and every sector, right from related to the food, to the agriculture, to the health sector, to the pharmaceutical sector, to the medical sector. Okay. And there are 164 member countries are there in the ISO, and its headquarter is in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay. And this ISO forms certain guidelines or certain regulations like ISO 9000 series, ISO 9001 series, ISO 14000 series. This ISO forms the guidelines like ISO 9000, ISO 9001, ISO 14000. Okay. So, this agency is continuously working on the improvement of quality of the product. Next is ICH. ICH is International Conference on Harmonization, and this agency came into the existence in 1990 when the European Union, the Japan and USA regulatory agencies meet together on the harmonization of the product to set up the guidelines for quality, safety and efficacy of the products. Okay. This ICH guidelines has 4 sections: quality section, safety section, efficacy section and multipurpose. Okay. Quality section is denoted by the letter Q, letter capital Q. Safety is denoted by the letter S and efficacy is denoted by the letter E. And last is multipurpose guidelines. Okay. This is related to the quality of the product, safety is related to the safety of the product, that include carcinogenic testing, genotoxicity study, and efficacy is related to the clinical trials. Okay. And the area or the points that does not cover into these 3 sections will come into the multipurpose guidelines. Okay. Next is US FDA. US FDA has certain code of federal regulation, certain CFR, and these CFR consist of 2 parts, CFR part 210 and CFR part 211. Okay. It consists of 2 parts, 210 and 211, and these 2 parts will contain minimum current good manufacturing guidelines for the products. Part 210 consists of minimum current good manufacturing for the holding of a device, for the manufacturing, for the import, for the sale, for the license of the facilities or equipment or the process used. But in case of 211, it consists of minimum current good manufacturing practices for the manufacturing of a drug product. Okay. Next is CDSCO. CDSCO is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Okay. It is a regulatory authority of India. It is the Drug Regulatory Authority of India that works under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare under the Director General of Health Services. Okay. And this CDSCO consists of various laboratories, various port office, various zonal offices, various sub-zonal offices and its headquarter. And its headquarter is in New Delhi, and all the meetings of DTAB and DCC, the meetings of DTAB and DCC are held on the headquarter. DTAB stands for Drug Technical Advisory Board and DCC stands for Drug Technical Advisory Board, and DCC consists of Drug Consultative Committee, and the meetings of DTAB and DCC held in the department of CDSCO. Okay. So, ICH, WHO, CDSCO, EU and US FDA, these all are the regulatory agencies that facilitate certain regulatory compliances that and these compliances are mandatory for every organization to follow to maintain or to ensure the quality of the pharmaceutical product. Okay. So, with the help of QBD approach, we can maintain the quality of the product. Okay. Let us summarize what is QBD. The more systematic approach to the product development is known as the quality by design approach, and this approach is described in the Q8 guidelines of ICH that focuses on the predefining objectives and emphasizes on the product and process understanding and process control. Okay. The benefits of QBD includes elimination of batch failure, minimizing deviations and costly investigations, avoiding the problems related to the regulatory compliances. We can take better development decision with the help of QBD approach. We can empower and skill our technical staff. We can ensure the continuous improvements in the quality, and the QBD approach is very helpful in process related to the drug development, in the discovery of advanced drug delivery system, in the development of advanced dosage form, in the analysis of the drug product, in the packaging of the drug product. Okay. Next is steps in the QBD. The various steps in the QBD includes, there are 7 steps in the QBD approach, and these are: first is target product profile, critical quality attributes, third is linking of raw material attributes and process parameters with the critical quality attributes, fourth is establish design space, fifth one is establishing control strategy, next is risk assessment, and last is continual improvement. Okay. In the critical quality attributes, we have to define certain parameters that will significantly affect the quality, safety and efficacy of the product. And in the third step, we are linking the raw material attributes and process parameters with the critical quality attributes. Okay. This is all about the QBD process.